What does it mean to rise to the occasion? To be in a situation and you look around and you suspect things are starting to go sideways. Your instinctive response is, somebody should do something. But then you realize nobody is going to do anything. So if it's not you to step up to the plate, things might end catastrophically. Mark Twain famously said that there are two important days in your life: the day you are born and the day you find out why. Once upon a time, a long, long time ago, in a land far, far away, there was a king, Artaxerxes, the king of Persia, in about 400 BC. This was kind of in between, a little lull between a lot of very important historical events. It was after the Persian Wars between Persia and Greece. It was after the Peloponnesian Wars between Athens and Sparta. But it was before Alexander the Great united all of Greece and marched his armies from Greece to Egypt all the way to India. So this was in this kind of middle lull, peaceful period. Artaxerxes, king of Persia, had a younger brother, Cyrus. Cyrus didn't like his older brother. Cyrus thought he should be king, not his older brother. The problem was, although Cyrus had a large and loyal army, they weren't quite big enough to overthrow the army of Artaxerxes. So Cyrus had a plan. Cyrus took advantage of this relative peace between the Persians and the Greeks, and he sent a very secret group of emissaries to Greece. What Cyrus was hoping to do was to hire an army of mercenaries from Greece to help overthrow his older brother. And he was successful. He recruited 10,000 highly trained hoplites, mostly Spartans from Greece. And he secretly marched them, he escorted them deep, deep, deep into Persian territory, to a place where no Greek had ever been before, all the way from Greece into Mesopotamia. These 10,000 Spartans were like Spider-Man, far from home. The plan was simple. The 10,000 warriors would fight against this army. Cyrus and his army would fight against Artaxerxes directly. They would both become victorious. They would meet in the middle. Cyrus would become king. He would give the 10,000 warriors a ginormous sack of money. He would escort them home, and everybody would live happily ever after. Unfortunately, Cyrus wasn't aware of the philosophy of Mike Tyson, which says that everybody has a plan, and then you get punched in the mouth. The Spartans, for their part, did fantastically. They beat the crap out of whoever they were supposed to beat the crap out of because they were Spartans. But Cyrus got punched in the face with a spear. He was decapitated. His entire army was suddenly headless. And without a leader, they panicked. They fell apart. And the ones that weren't killed by Artaxerxes suddenly switched teams. They were no longer loyal fans of Cyrus. They were, yay, Artaxerxes, our hero. Please don't kill me. When the Spartans got back to their camp, they realized something was very, very wrong, because when they left to go to battle, it was guarded by friendly Persians. But when they got back to their camp, it had been ransacked, looted. All their stuff was taken. And they realized the trouble they were in, because they were deep, deep, deep in Persian territory. And now they had no friends. They had no supplies. They had no supply lines. All they had were their weapons that they carried back from the battle. Now they were like Spider-Man, no way home. The only thing they had in their favor was that they were 10,000 Spartans. The Persians remembered from the Battle of Thermopylae 100 years before. The Battle of Thermopylae is the movie 300. 300 Spartans were very tough because they were willing to fight to the last man. No Persian wanted to go up against 10,000 Spartans. They were all willing to fight to the last man. So Artaxerxes concocted a plan. And so he told the Spartans, well, this is kind of a stalemate. We'll just call it even. We'll let you guys keep your weapons. We'll escort you back home to Greece. Just stay out of our territory. You're not going to get paid, but that's the best we can do. The Spartans said, well, we don't really have a choice. And so the night came for them. The night came before them to go home, and Artaxerxes decided to have a big feast, like a goodbye party. And so Artaxerxes invited all of the Spartan leadership to this ginormous goodbye feast with all the Persian leadership. But it was a trap. One by one, all the Spartan leaders were brought before Artaxerxes and executed. After they killed all of the Spartan leadership, they sent back the heads of the most important generals to send a message to the Spartans. Now, not only are they trapped deep, deep, deep in Persian territory, but they are headless. They have no leaders. Now the Persians thought they had a chance. They would just slowly follow these headless, leaderless Spartans, hope they would kind of chaotically fall apart, and slowly but surely kill them all as they tried to escape. But what Artaxerxes didn't count on was this guy named Xenophon, a low-ranking officer, not high enough to be invited to the goodbye party, but he stepped up to the plate. He rose to the occasion. He spontaneously gave these 10,000 Spartans a very fiery motivational speech. Let me lead you. Vote for me as your leader, and I promise I will take you home. And they voted for him to be their new leader. And that is exactly what he did. He took them home. They marched through all kinds of different scenarios, like a real-life version of Homer's Odyssey. They hiked through massive valleys with no food and no water. They hiked through mountains covered in snow. They had to fight all these small hidden armies of warriors who would pop out of nowhere and try to sabotage them. They had to raid castles to get food. They had to sneak onto farms to get food. All the while they were being dogged by the Persians, waiting for them to make a mistake. But 2 years and 3,000 miles later, they could finally see the sea, the ocean. And when they saw the sea, they knew they were home. Lucky for posterity, Xenophon wrote down everything. He wrote down all of the battle strategies he had to invent flying by the seat of his pants. He wrote down all the different places they went to, the places where you could get food, the places where you could get water, the places that were dry and you couldn't get either, the places where all the armies hid and waited to ambush you, all of the strategies the Persians tried to use against him. And he wrote this in a book called Anabasis. And historians tell us that had it not been for the critical military intelligence in this book, Anabasis, Alexander the Great probably would not have been able to conquer all of Persia. He conquered all of Persia, one, because he was a military genius, but two, he had very, very useful military intelligence. So that one guy, Xenophon, who rose to the occasion, who led the 10,000 out of Persia, which is one of the greatest journeys in human history, according to a lot of historians. Had it not been for Xenophon, Alexander the Great might not have been so successful, and Western history might be completely different. So the next time you're in a situation and things are starting to go sideways, and there doesn't seem to be anybody who's going to rise to the occasion, consider that it should be you. Because, to paraphrase the famous poem by Rudyard Kipling, if you can keep your head while everybody else is losing theirs, you will gain the world and everything in it. Thank you.